Welcome friends to another r/MaliciousCompliance video. Today we've got a story of a boss calling people cutie. But first, a story from Miss Spooks. Box up all of the leftover boxes? I should note that I was away for this story but heard all about it. My convenience store chain is locally known for its donuts. We get dozens of fresh donuts every morning, and by the end of the night we're supposed to box up what we have left into half-dozen boxes to be sold for a discount the next day. Some nights we'll still have quite a lot of donuts left over. We've found that when there's 30 plus boxes of these day-old donuts, people seem to buy less of them. So we started capping the amount of boxes made at just 15 and send the rest of the donuts back to the bakery. We recently got a new assistant manager. She's pretty chill as a person, but as a manager she can be pretty by the book and controlling. She'd found out that we were making only 15 boxes most night and insisted we box up all of the leftover donuts, saying something about it's how they know if they're ordering too many donuts. We write off the donuts every night so there's a list and that the company expects to sell them. Well, one day either people weren't buying donuts that day or they'd ordered way too many. We had a crazy amount left over that night. My coworker knew the assistant manager would be checking her work and didn't want to get into trouble with our assistant manager, so we boxed them all. We had a total of 61 boxes made. Our store manager opened that morning and was not happy to say the least. We're allowed to cap it at 15 again. If you had a boss who didn't really understand the scope of just what they're asking for, and you knew that it would be extremely wasteful to go ahead with it, would you still go ahead and do it just to prove them wrong? Is it the right thing to do? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Our next story is from the Real Ironics, the Great Groupchat Circus. The context behind this is that I was part of this WhatsApp group that was actually kinda toxic. And both me and my best friend were almost at a breaking point and ready to pop off at the owner, a guy we were friends with. A debate started about whether schools should have Friday off. And one of the members, who just so happens to be the owner's girlfriend, says that going down to 4 days will result in 18-hour days like China. Being a man of realism, I shoot back a few messages about how it would never be like that here, and that it was pretty unrealistic to compare the UK to China. She then made the mistake of laughing at me for sharing my opinion, after she had shared hers and telling me to be less serious. Which then sparked something inside of me. I shall don my clown makeup, I say, fully intending to follow the instruction of being less serious, making sure to put on my multicolor wig and massive shoes before prancing around the town singing funny songs. This sparked a revolution in the group chat, where me and my best friend, as well as his sister, proceeded to act out as if we were in a circus and looking for acts, describing the animals, our different roles, and this festival we were now holding. Our merriment came to an end when the owner finally turns on his group chat and asks what the fuss is about. It's fine, I reply. I'm not taking myself seriously, at the request of your girlfriend. This kind of sparked a long and arduous lecture from him that left the group chat quiet until someone else changed the subject. Me and my best friend have had enough at this point, so we're finally ready to leave the group chat. And with my final message, our charade of being less serious falls with our leaving. And with that, the Ironics' circus rolls out of town, leaving the honking sound of clown cars in its wake. Maybe the show will come back to town, maybe it won't, who knows? That's all, folks. It just goes to show that sometimes with a certain group, a group chat is just not it. Like, it's one thing if you got a friend group and you all click, but if you're in this group and you got these people that you feel are toxic or toxic towards you, it just sucks to be there, I'm not gonna lie. I've been in similar-ish situations where I've worked with people and been in a group chat with them, and they're just toxic people, like they're just jerks. They're willing to put down groups of people who they don't agree with, make jokes that just aren't necessary, and in a group setting, it's kind of just really off-putting. By the way, if you're enjoying these stories, make sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons down below so you never miss any of my daily videos. Every single video has awesome stories, like our next story from Juggalo Chris. Boss says, "Don't call you cutie? Fine, I'll call you something else." Me, male 24, has this boss, female age unknown, who is very nice and laid back, and calls everyone schatje, meaning cutie in Dutch. We're in the Netherlands. The reason why is because she's a mom and it became a habit or something. No one's bothered by it. Anyway, today I jokingly said to her, "Don't call me cutie," to which she jokingly replied, "Okay." After which she called me a Dutch insult which could be roughly translated to a hole. Everyone who was there at the time laughed, including me. So it wasn't that bad, but it was pretty funny and I wanted to post this. At least in this situation, it's not as creepy as the headline sounds. When you hear the headline, the boss says, "Don't call you cutie? Fine, I'll call you something else." You picture some like big, fat, sweaty businessman that calls all the women or secretaries in his office cuties, has like 6 chins rolling over each other. And in this story, it's just like a nice motherly kind gesture. I was ready for some real workplace harassment type stuff and left actually feeling kind of wholesome. Our next story is from Cinnamon Gin, Natural Occurring Colors. In the early 2000s, I worked at a Canadian casino. The place had so many ridiculous rules, including some very particular rules about makeup. The makeup rules were as follows: 1. No fake eyelashes. 2. No fake fingernails or fingernail extensions. 3. No makeup that is not a natural color. The natural color one confused me. What is deemed natural? Who decides what is and isn't natural? I asked my manager for clarification, but she couldn't give me any. Just keep it natural, use natural occurring colors and you'll be fine. This did not sit well with me. Cue malicious compliance. My aunt has her master's in environmental science. I went to her house one evening and picked her brain about natural occurring colors. She informed me that, scientifically, natural occurring colors are colors that can be found directly in nature. She even showed me a textbook that directly spoke about natural occurring colors. I borrowed the textbook and highlighted the paragraphs that specified this. Keep in mind, this was well before you could just Google something. The only way to back up the claim was to carry that 750-page textbook to work with me. My next shift, I went all out. Green eyeliner, eggplant-colored eyeshadow, yellow nail polish on one hand and mango-colored on the other hand. I hit the floor to work, and within the first few minutes, I get hauled into my manager's office. "OP, what do you think you're doing? You can't wear those colors. You know our policy states natural occurring colors only when it comes to makeup. Head to the staff bathroom immediately and remove it." Wordlessly, I headed to the staff bathroom. But instead of taking the makeup off, I went to my locker, grabbed the textbook, and marched back to my manager's office. "Excuse me, manager, I'm wearing natural occurring colors. Here, look at this textbook that specifically states what natural occurring are by definition." I watched her face change as she read the book. First, she looked pissed, then worried, and then finally resigned herself to what was happening. "OP, do you really need to be that type of person?" I say, "The type that follows the rules? I thought that's what you wanted me to do." She asked me to head back to the floor. For the remaining time I was employed there, I wore whatever color makeup I wanted, and so did almost all of my coworkers. They tried coming out with new rules but could never get the wording right. Screw stupid rules, malicious compliance for the win. I appreciate the people who test the limits of these personalization rules. It definitely makes me think of a lot of stories of people trying to get around school dress codes and whatnot. Whether it's length or top type or colors. And surprisingly, for a lot of girls, you'd be surprised how many schools have weird rules about what you can wear outside in the cold. I've read a good few stories where schools try to force girls to still wear skirts outside when it's in the winter. Our next story is from Ancient Educator 76. And don't you be splitting that tip with her. This is a story of me and my butt buddy I'll call Samantha. We both coordinate the drive-thru, me on the radio, her collecting the money. Our backs are to each other as I make the drinks during the order while she assembles the bag and or collects the money from the customer. We're the faces of the Mendy's drive-thru. We had one customer whose order I took that was having a problem while at the window. The problem was entirely my fault, as I didn't completely put in their order before Samantha rung them up. This caused a lot of confusion, and Samantha was very apologetic to the customers. To me, even. This was totally my fault, yet Samantha was getting reamed by these customers for being a stupid, about to lose yo job witch. It felt very not from a progressive or accepting place. While they continued to scowl at her, they looked at me and handed me a 50. A 50 and said, "Don't you go splitting that tip with her." Enter Malicious Compliance as I hand the 50 directly to Samantha as they drove away looking. Best and most indescribable expression ever. She kept pushing to give me 20 at least. No way, you earned this one. At least if they're gonna be terrible customers like that, at least they tipped well. I mean, obviously they didn't intend any to go to Samantha, and it was meant to make Samantha jealous. So it's nice that OP's a good person too. Honestly, I bet a lot of people working fast food in that situation would keep that 50. And our final story of the day is from Five Frog Margin. Why is their pizza sauce smeared all over the walls? The bosses wondered to themselves. 20 years back, I worked on a tugboat sailing the Great Lakes. This was a really crappy company, and they'd more or less exhausted every available mariner living on the Great Lakes. So nobody on the lakes would even apply to work there anymore. As a result, I, Tennessee/Kentucky river trash deckhand, got hired on. From the get-go, it was an uphill battle. My hard work ethic and easygoing nature were overshadowed by my southern accent and inexperience with big cities. Hick was one of the nicer terms thrown my way in those 6 months, but the money was amazing, and I learned to eat plenty of crap as I really wanted the job. After about 4 to 5 months, I began to get a bigger picture of the dynamic, and was vastly more confident in my abilities. At this point, I was unconsciously doing most, if not all, of the deckhand's work on board. One way I got screwed was the galley kitchen cleanup. One of the deckhands got galley cleanup in the morning, one got it at night. Naturally, as the FNG, freaking new guy, I always seemed to get stuck with nighttime galley cleanup. AM cleanup was a little more than tossing dishes in the washer and making coffee. Nighttime cleanup was the culmination of an entire day's worth of buildup, easily 45 to 60 minutes worth of work. Enter the annual shipyard period, and this is where our tale begins. We pulled into Sturgeon Bay, population 8,900, around dusk, as we had a 3-week shipyard period scheduled. Now, this company was death on drinking. Instant firing. Of course, because we all had no loading and unloading the next day, we all went out to some local bar that night. My years of coal barge experience taught me to grab a few drinks, then get back to the boat. We got a job in a few hours. So after half a dozen buds, I walked back to the boat to go sleep. Since I was a nice guy, always trying to help out my crew, no matter what they do to me, I decided to cook them a couple pizzas. I tossed a couple tombstones in the oven, set cook, smoked a butt or two, then pulled them out. I placed them on the counter with a note. Pizzas on the stove, clean up your mess, put dishes in washer when you're done. Maybe it was the demanding tone in my orders, but my note 100% set them off. I woke up to literally pizza smeared across every cabinet and a rough "Freak You" in pizza font on the whiteboard. I woke up at 0600 to this mess. Since it was morning cleanup, I figured it was not my responsibility. I'd been getting up at 0600 1 hour before the crew and making coffee for 2 months, and I suspect they were used to it. This time, the bigwigs from the office were in town, shipyard, remember, and had to let the captain know they would be aboard in the AM, and so they were. I was in the galley sipping my coffee when 3 of the bigwigs came down the stairs. I politely asked if anyone wanted coffee. They all said yes, former sailors, and sat in the galley staring at the Pizza Picasso artwork decorating the bulkheads, walls, waiting for the captain apparently. After 10 to 15 minutes, the captain came down. He had that been drinking all night vibe to him, and was promptly horrified at the state of the galley. Of course, he immediately tried to show off by raging against me and the state of the galley. I reminded him that I was night cleanup, not AM cleanup. The more he tried to pin this on me, the worse he looked. It finally culminated in him trying to hammer me. I know you have night cleanup, but couldn't you have at least wiped down the cabinets? I'd had an hour to practice my answer. When we left Toledo last week, and I asked you for help cleaning the galley after the mess the longshoremen left, you told me I volunteered for the night cleanup, so it's my job, period. Well, now it's AM cleanup, and other deckhand has cleanup. He doubled down and ordered me to clean the galley to save face, but it was just digging a deeper hole. Best of all, my shipmates couldn't resist bragging about the stupid drunk stuff they'd done that night. I called the company's 1-800 number, used a variety of accents, and complained about what they'd been doing in Sturgeon Bay. Some of the complaints I'd made lifted straight from their stories that night. 1. They threw their empties at the bar's Billy Bassmouth trophy. 2. They tried to take down 2 of the bar's 5 mounted deer heads. 3. Walked behind the bar to grab a bottle of Jägermeister to pour free shots for everyone. 4. After getting kicked out, they weren't, kicking the side of a pickup parked in front. 5. Putting empties in several mailboxes between the bar and the shipyard. 6. Knocking a bass-shaped mailbox off of its mount. All of which they bragged about loudly. Long story short, 1 officer and a deckhand got fired. The captain had Sturgeon Bay hanging over his head as long as I worked there, 7 years, and the office never messed with me, not once. No wonder the turnover at this place was terrible. Everybody's just a total jerk. If you're the new guy, this isn't like rookie hazing. This is like you're doing every gritty thing that we don't care at all to do. And if you think we're gonna help you out at all and make anything easy for you, then you've got another thing coming. Well, yeah, you're gonna run off everybody at that rate. But with that being said, that's all the time we have for today. Now, if you want to hear another malicious compliance story that was even more insane than the ones in this video, click on that left video. Or if you missed my latest video, click on the right. But with that said, I'll see you all next time with some more stories.